per capita income, and internet penetration. And this presentation is by Kisana, Melissa, Ashley, and Amelia. So what is development? Development can be defined as a process that creates growth, progress, positive change, or the addition of physical, economic, environmental, social, or demographic components. It may also refer to the process of causing something to be more advanced. What is per capita income? Per capita income can be defined as the measure of the amount of money earned per person in a nation or a geographic region. Per capita income can be used to determine the average per person income for an area, and also it can be used to evaluate the standard of living as well as quality of life of a population.
Why is per capita income a relevant indicator of development? Per capita income serves as a measurement of the stability and wealth in an economy. It is a ratio. If it rises, it suggests that members of the population in a region are more prosperous than before. However, if it decreases, it suggests that the standard of living in a region has decreased, with the assumption that the price of goods in the economy has either stayed the same or increased with inflation. Per capita income is also a measurement of prosperity for a region. This helps regions that are in need of financial assistance to be discovered with the assumption that the cost of living is the same in those regions. In other words, when two regions have the same per capita income, but one has a higher cost of goods and services, the other region would be able to assist financially in order to deflate those prices and help develop that region's economy. What is internet penetration? It is defined as the relationship between the number of internet users in each country and its demographic data. It can also be defined as a portion of the population that has access to the internet.
Why is internet penetration a good indicator of development? Reason number one, internet penetration is directly linked to its cost. This is based on the average family income and the availability of products and services in the commodity basket, which is within the general population's purchasing ability. If a population can afford internet as a resource, it can be an indicator of a developing or developed country. As the annual cost of internet drops below a certain percentage of a family's annual income, its use begins to increase dramatically. Reason number two, internet penetration can create significant growth in important sectors such as education, healthcare, energy, and governance in an economy. In emerging markets, the main drivers of internet will be the surge of urbanization, growing middle class, increased penetration of cell phones, and increasing mobile internet adoption. Due to the establishment of basic and affordable voice connectivity, markets with high growth rates are likely to see accelerating consumer demand for data services and internet access.
All right, you go back to the first question for me, please. So if you go into the exam, what is a simple way you can put it to define development? How would you define it? How would you define development? Because you're not going to remember all of that. How would you define it? What is development? Somebody from the group? Is you do the presentation?
Sir, you can probably say development is the process of growing or changing or becoming more advanced.
So you could say the process, so development. So you're saying that development is the process In what?
The process of growing or changing and becoming more advanced.
Growing more advanced. All right. Next, what else?
So development can be defined as an improvement in certain sectors.
What sectors?
The education sector and
Economic or social conditions in a country.
Very good. So the improvement in the economic and social conditions where?
In a country.
In a country.
Or
Very
region.
good. Yeah, because when you go into the exam, you're not going to remember. Some of us brain very good enough because when I was going to school, I could just swat a definition and go and write it back. Not now. Brain get tired. But when I was much younger, I could have done that. So I want you to put the development or to tell me about what is development in your own words. Because when you go out there and somebody is using the concept of development, it's not just about saying that it is about improvement alone, but improvement in what? What are the different ways in which we measure development? I wouldn't not ways we make. What are the different concepts of development? There are 3 concepts of development. Anybody from the class, what are the 3 concepts of development?
So I
3
mean like
ways.
human development, sustainable development.
Very good. So we have, so 1, you said human. What else? You said sustainable. What is the next one?
Economic.
Economic. Very good. So these are the 3 concepts of development. All right. Go to your next question for me, please. So what is per capita? Summarize per capita. What per capita mean?
Sir, per capita is the amount of money that each person makes in a country.
I asked you the question per capita. What per capita mean?
Oh, per capita by itself, not with the income?
Yes.
Really, it's relating to each person.
So per capita is each person. Each person in what? Or where?
A country or region.
In a country. Good. So if you see per capita income, it is?
The income or the money that each person in a country or region makes.
Yes. All right. That is what they say. All right. So it is, so to get the per capita income is not that everybody makes the same money in the region, right?
Right.
So your per capita income is the total income of the country, the total income, and you're going to divide that total income by the population. So right now, I believe in Jamaica, the per capita income in Jamaica right now is around as per capita GDP are looking for Jamaica.
Sir, if you search the per capita income, it's not going to show you anything but the GDP.
Repeat.
If you search the per capita income, it's not going to show you anything but the GDP.
Okay. So what is so roughly what they usually say is that the per capita income for our country could be around maybe 20,000 US for every person. I'm not sure if that is the figure for Jamaica, right? But if you look at that figure, is it that everybody in the society making that amount of money?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Not everybody is making that amount of money, right? So what are some of the problems with using per capita income to measure development? Because per capita income is one way in which we measure development. Per capita GDP is one way in which we measure development. But what are some of the issue here?
Sir,
And 1 second. In fact, they are saying here online that the per capita income for Jamaica or the gross national income is 5,250 US dollars. That is what they say is the per capita income. Times that by 150 for me, please. Somebody do the calculation.
Sir, could you repeat the number?
5,250 US dollars.
That would be 787,500.
7.
787,500.
All right, so let us run it off to 790,000 Jamaican dollar. Is everybody making 790,000 Jamaican dollar a year? Every year? In terms of salary? Divide the 790,000 by 12 months. What would be the average salary per month? Or income per month?
sir, 65,833.
So $65,000 or $66,000. Is everybody in the country making 66,000?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, not everybody making 66. Some people is making what? Tell me about it. It's a
Minimum wage.
discussion. Everybody in the country not making around 66,000 a month. But according to this data, our per capita income, the average salary in the country is 66,000. What is minimum wage in Jamaica?
Sir, around 30,000.
How much a week for minimum wage?
7,000.
It's about $7,000. 7,000 times 400 times 4.
28,000.
So the poorest in the society is making 28,000 a month. Right? So so all the figures that I just give to you, one, are all of us work out together. One is that the persons in the society that making minimum wage, they take home 28,000 a month, right? That is their income. The next thing is that the average income based on our per capita is 66,000. But we have persons in Jamaica making $1 million a month, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, you have people in Jamaica that makes $1 million a month. You have people in Jamaica that makes 3.5 million for the month. The principal of UII, his salary is $3.5 million per month. That is the salary. A teacher might take home about 100 to 200,000. Same thing with a police officer and nurse. A medical doctor might, depends on which level you're at in the medical field. You could take home as low as about 150 if you're a trainee, not really trainee, but you just start out, to about almost, some medical doctors might take home about 600,000. Same thing with attorney. I have a friend who is a lawyer. She said that she received a job and she got 100,000. While I know other attorneys who are taking home 800 plus thousand a month. And so per capita income doesn't tell the real value or the real income of the country. And also there are some Caribbean countries that their per capita income is way higher than Jamaica. But most of the people living in this country not getting that amount of money. You're following? So what are some of the critique or criticism of using per capita income as an indicator of development?
It doesn't dictate the true information
Well, sir,
accurately.
So it doesn't reflect the true information. Very good. Yes. Go ahead, Blair.
not everybody in the country makes the
Not everybody in the country makes the same amount of money.
not
Also, another criticism, if you divide it by the population to get the per capita income, everybody in the population is employed?
no,
No,
sir.
sir.
So that means that it ignores those who are unemployed in the population. What about other people in the population that it ignores? Not only the unemployed, but what? Who else in the society doesn't make a
The
money?
elderly.
The elderly, those who are retired, who else? You make an income?
Minors.
Children, minors.
The
The
disabled,
minors and the children and the disabled. Very good. Very good. So you see that per capita income is not a true reflection of the conditions in a country. Write that down. Per capita income is not a true reflection of the conditions in a country, or the different wages that people get in the country. Because one, based on what we are saying right here, is that not everybody in the society makes the same amount of money, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Not everybody, and there are some persons in the society that makes way low or lower salary, well, way lower than the, we call it, the average income. So those persons who are on minimum wage. And it also ignores those persons who are unemployed, the old, those who are retired, and also the children. So it is not a true reflection. Go to the next one for me, please. The next question. So based on our discussion that we have had, do you think per capita income is relevant, is a relevant indicator of development?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So some of us could argue that it is not, but is there any plus in using per capita income? Is there a benefit in using it? Why economists and countries still use it?
Sir, is it that it provides a fairly good estimate of what people earn in a country? So like it's easier to approximate what people earn, although it's not like a completely accurate figure.
Very good, very good. So a benefit of using it is that it gives us an estimate or an idea of the average salary in a country. It also could determine the production in a country or the productivity in a country. But we know for sure that it is not completely accurate. All right, may I see the next question for me, please? Next one.
Sir?
Yes, what is it?
So for when, like for example, answering a question with the two that I have on the slide, it wouldn't work?
Yeah, man, it is good. It is good. No problem.
Okay.
No problem. Internet penetration. When we talk about internet penetration, what are we talking about?
The availability of internet connection in a country?
Yes. How is it in Jamaica? Especially in the time of COVID.
I mean, it's available. It's available, but it doesn't necessarily work well.
It's available to some parts of the public, not the entire public.
Yes, that is true.
So, like for
And
instance,
even people in the society who can afford it, they are not able to get internet. Even, and then also those who can afford it, uh, it can also be very expensive. You look at data, how much money you have to pay for data. And there's a lot of students who are online for online classes who, one, they have to use data. They don't have the straight internet like a flow package or a digital package. You have to look at people living in rural area, and it's not only poor people live in rural area, rich people live in rural areas in the country, but they too cannot access internet, but to some extent they can pay for it. But it is expensive to buy data. And so internet penetration, especially in this time in which we live in, is an indicator of development. Internet shows, if you have access to internet, it shows that you have some level of development going on in a country. When I was in Cayman, I never had the internet at home because I didn't feel that I need to purchase a plan. Why? Because I live in the town. I live right in Georgetown. So all I had to do was to walk from my house to the Digicel store, and we had free internet, and it was pretty safe. It was very, very safe in Cayman. And so because it was very safe in Cayman, I was able to be on the road right in front of the, Kristen, do you know, right in front of the post office?
The one in Georgetown, sir?
In Georgetown.
Yes, sir.
So if you're in Cayman and you should go into Georgetown, if you pass Georgetown at 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 a.m., I would be out there on the internet because it's pretty safe. And I would sit there, not only me, but a lot of Filipinos and other people come right there, sit on the benches right at Digicel, and they have internet, free internet. But we don't have that access in Jamaica. And so internet penetration is a serious, serious problem. And if we don't have internet, it can be very expensive. It can be very expensive for people to work, especially now with work from home orders, school, especially accessing certain programs, schooling, and especially during a time of a pandemic or natural disaster. So the internet is very important. In Jamaica, the penetration for Jamaica it's around 55%. That is our internet penetration rate in Jamaica, 55%, which is one of the lowest in the Caribbean. Other countries is a much higher. For example, like Antigua, it is 80.8%. Aruba, 93.5%. The Bahamas, 64.4%. Barbados, 69.1%. The Cayman Islands, 88.7%. Cuba, 58%. I don't believe that. Curacao, 91.8%. Dominica, 52%. Grenada, 65%. Jamaica, the new data said Jamaica internet penetration is 50%. Well, 53% is the penetration, but the Facebook subscribers is 50% penetration in terms of Facebook. And so these are all, let us see Trinidad. Trinidad is 70. Go ahead for me.
Could you repeat Cayman, please?
The Cayman Islands penetration is 88.7%.
Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yeah. Go ahead for me.
sir, but when you look at it, we're not that bad because the countries that you're calling that have a higher percentage, they're smaller compared to Jamaica.
Yes, but they still have access to the internet, way higher access than us. Remember, most of the population in Jamaica live in Kingston and St. Andrew and St. Catherine. But you have to look at the other parts of Jamaica that is excluded, the rural areas. And the other countries are very flat, and not even flat, it is much smaller. People can drive 5-10 minutes to go and get internet at somebody's house. Yet look at somebody who live way up in the hills of Blue Mountains. They have to put on their clothes. They have to take the taxi and drive to the main town to use the internet. But the criticism is the defense, the Jamaican defense is good. That is good. That is good. That is good. It is a good observation. It is not all that, low, but we could say it is still low. Agree?
Yes, sir.
All right. Because I'm not taking away your freedom of expression, That's not what I'm doing. That's not my aim. All right. So very good. Very, very good. This group, the next group, let us see how we can do it, which is group 2. Group 2, we have Bailey, Campbell, Chambers, and Curtis.
Okay, good morning. Today, Group 2 is going to present on economic development. So first, what is economic development? Economic development is the development that improves the standard of living of a country by increasing economic activities. Development through economic growth. It is believed that the problems of poverty, inadequate schooling, technological backwardness, and rural neglect would be automatically addressed once Caribbean countries were experiencing improvements in economic growth. Since more goods and services were being produced, more people would enjoy material benefits through increased income, and the standard of living would rise.
An indicator of economic development is gross national product, GNP. The effects of GNP on sustainable development. Sustainable development is the planned and balanced development of a society's resources to provide for itself without hindering the ability to meet the needs of future generations. Gross national product influences sustainable development by providing a base on which a society can provide its own resources. This is because GNP growth is seen in improvements in standard of living. For example, in education, GNP contributes to the research in advanced science and higher level of employment. Countries with a higher GNP therefore can usually afford a better education system, which is a part of sustainable development.
Population growth rate, an indicator of development. Population growth rate, why it's an indicator of development. Population growth rate refers to the average annual rate of change of population size during a specific period. It is calculated by considering birth and death rates and migration statistics. Population growth rates contribute to either higher or lower overall economic growth rate, depending on the nature of its effect on per capita GDP. According to Heddy and Hod, 2009, it was found that declining population growth rates in high-income countries slow economic growth, while high population growth rates in low-income countries lower their economic growth. Population growth rate is an indicator of economic development because if a country keeps its population growth under control, then its GDP or GNP per capita income should rise. On the other hand, when population is growing, the economy of a country will also tend to grow. A growing population means a growing market for most goods and services. A potentially Expanding market may stimulate entrepreneurs to invest more in capital goods and machinery. Therefore, business activity will be spurred, and more income and employment will be created in the process. Moreover, it will provide an outlet for the products of efficient, large scale, and mass production industries.
Economic growth indicators. Economic growth indicators, why they only provide a limited understanding of development. Economic growth indicators of development are factors used to measure growth in a given country. These can be economic or non-economic in nature. An example of a common economic indicator is gross national product. These indicators provide a limited understanding of development. However, because they are averages and as a result, the figures calculated may disguise inequalities within a country. Gross national product, for example, is an average figure which can hide huge differences in wealth between cities and the countryside. This is especially true of countries such as Brazil. Gross national product does not show how equitably a country's income is distributed, and so an increase in GNP does not necessarily mean an improvement in standard living for all.
1 second. So I like what you said. If you look at all of the economic indicators, whether it is gross domestic product, GNP, GDP, GNP, whether you're using per capita income, all of these different economic indicators, it tends to disguise the inequalities within a country, and which we would have stated, and which we ourselves, when we work it out using the minimum wage, it clearly shows that it really disguises it. And it's not only in Brazil that happens, but also right here in Jamaica and other Caribbean countries. All right, so continue, please.
That's the end of the presentation, sir.
Anyone from the group? Thank you very much. Anyone from the group?
Sir,
What are the different economic, not economic indicators, what are the different concepts of development? We have three concepts of development, or three views of development. The first one is?
You have human development.
Yes, human development is one, but the first one, the first concept
Economic development
is economic. Then after economic come the school of thought on
Human.
And then the next one is sustainable. So the question asks, explain one reason why economic growth indicators can provide only a limited understanding of development, right? So that is the question right here, that it provides a limited. So what this question is basically asking, why is it that the concept of development are using economic indicators, are using only the concept of economic development is limited? Why is it limited? The group mentioned that it disguises the inequalities within the society. What are they focusing on? Which one of the school of thought when they use that rebuttal? Which school of thought or which one of the concepts they are using? Which one of the concepts? What human development argues? Human development? Anyone from the group?
You're improving the quality of life through people.
By developing people, yes. So you look at, what are some of the things you look at when you're dealing with human development? What are some of the indicators?
Sustainability, productivity, empowerment, and equity.
Equity, yes. But you also look at some other figures. Access literacy rate. Access to
Modern technology.
education.
Sir, the health component.
The health, yes. Access to the hospitals, access to quality health service, internet penetration, human rights. All of these are examples of the human development. While human development focus on the developing the human being, sustainable development said that while we are developing the economy and we are developing the human person, you need to ensure that the environment is protected for future generations to use. So it's not that sustainable development is saying you don't look at economics or human development. It is saying that we need to develop the economy, we need to develop our individuals in the country, but we also need to protect the environment so future generations can use it. All right. The next question from the group, explain why population growth is an indicator of economic development. And if you, as a group rightly state, if you have a population and the population is growing, then that will increase productivity. So you'll have more workers, more people in the workforce, and that will not only provide more workers, but it will also provide a larger market for your goods. Because if you have more people to feed and your population is growing, then your market is going to be wider and you have more opportunities in terms of business developing, more people to sell your goods to, More people, other countries would come and invest in your country because people not going to want to invest in countries that have very small populations. All right. And so the next one, explain how the indicator of economic development stated above influences sustainable development. And so when you're looking at this, is that sustainable development say that you should develop the economy, but you should develop the economy in the context that future generation can inherit the wealth that is created, or the economic wealth that is created. So when we meet on Thursday, you have an activity in the Google Classroom tomorrow. So when we meet on Wednesday, groups 3, 4, 5, and 6, we'll see how we can work out all of these for the other groups. How, if we can fit everything either on Wednesday, or we do Wednesday and Thursday. But ladies, please take up your textbooks, encouraging you, take up your textbooks and read on development. Read that chapter, it's about 4 or 5 pages. Read it and let us have a good discussion. All right, ladies, enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much, group
Thank
2
you,
and
sir.
1.
Thanks, sir. You
Thank you,
too.
sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir. Thank you. Bye.